First story. I think my wife is cheating on me. How to know when to approach her. Sorry for any typos you may encounter. I did this on my phone and I am very distracted with the emotions I'm feeling right now. My 39 wife 39 and I have been together since high school 22 years and married for almost 15. We have 2 boys, 5 and 8. Things have been pretty good all these years with some minor, normal bumps along the way. I always feel like I got so lucky with her and consider her to be the perfect person with looks, brains, and as a nurturing mother. I won't lie, we have had some rocky periods the past 2 years, but nothing that I figured would be marriage ending. She started getting very distant 2 months ago, and we had talks, and she started mentioning how she wasn't feeling happy, and that she feels like she spent her whole life making the safe decisions, and never really found herself. I began working on myself, but she was pretty emphatic that she didn't want to change who I was just to appease her. I'm seeing a therapist as is she. She started going to her sister's on weekends for a few hours after the boys were asleep. Our 30-year-old nephew, her sister's son, died last fall and so she wanted to be there for her more. I had no problem with this. However, her attitude has worsened towards me in the past few months. She seems cut off, and then we had a talk last week that she thinks she is done. So I spent the week processing this and began to focus on what I could control, and that is me. I have been listening to marriage and male husband improvement books to better myself. Not necessarily with hopes of changing her mind, but of a way of self-improvement and a way to cope with this sudden decline in marriage. However, get visits with her sister have increased to every night and she's often showering and taking a bag with her. She doesn't get home until 1-2 in the morning. Her sister is a night owl, though. Oh man, this seemed so off to me and my gut was telling me there was something else. So the past evenings, before she leaves, I checked her odometer. Each morning it shows here having only driven 8 miles. It's over 18 miles round trip to her sister's 8 miles round trip. However, just so happens to be the distance to a nearby park and ride near a local highway. I'm 99% she's meeting someone there, and I want to confront her, civilized, of course. However, I know if I'm wrong, this will end any attempt at saving the marriage. So is this enough? There's one guy I suspected early is also married and was a friend of mine I met coaching our kids' baseball team last summer. He was messaging her after a trip we all went on, but using Instagram Messenger, which my wife is never on Instagram. Shortly thereafter, she got a new phone, changed the passcode. She knows mine and I've known hers forever. We had conversations about it and I asked her at the time if she was cheating and she denied anything. I suppose the writing is on the wall, but then I feel crazy checking her odometer, but just something feels so off. Update. Came home from work and checked the mail and found lingerie packages, one of which is a really revealing brand. So she's not home yet, so I found her travel bag, and it's full of sex toys. I think I have enough evidence. I was going to place the tracker on her car tonight, but not sure I can wait that long. I'm a mess. I'm shaking and trying to act normal around my youngest who is home with me now. One major thing I left out. When we had our last talk, she started discussing separation and said she wants this to be as clean as possible and cows never screw me over. Going as far as to say ideally, she would want to bird nest for a while and wants me to have the house as it's on my family's land. Update. I think the guilt is crushing her. See the latest update regarding her messages to me. She still doesn't know I know. Update. Trying to stay strong but emotions are right under the surface. Today is the first day after 100% discovery of my wife's affair with a mutual friend. She doesn't know that I know and I intend to keep it that way until she is served. However, since fully discovering last night, I was pretty certain up to that point. I'm finding I can be stone-faced and over it to those around me. Then the next second when I am by myself, I feel the train wreck of emotions coming out. I have to stick this out until it's done right. but I want advice on how to keep these strong emotions breaking through the surface at any minute. Update. Feeling paralyzed. Where do we go from here? This past Saturday, we sat down to discuss assets and how we can work this out outside of the courts to keep our children protected as much as possible. I made it through about 5 to 10 minutes of the meeting before I let her know I knew all about the affair. I let it all out. I was angry, hurt, betrayed, and utterly destroyed. I made sure she knew that while keeping it civil. Lots of tears were shed that first night. She never denied anything and didn't beg for forgiveness, so I appreciated that. While what she did destroyed me, we were not in a good spot for a few years. I cannot condone or forgive what she did, but I do feel like we have so many regrets. Yesterday was busy with sports, and we both had to put on fake happy faces around everyone. Last night we talked again for almost 2 hours, 100% civil and just relaxed. We have built so much together and we are scared to death of what is going to happen to our children, let alone the logistical nightmares. We built a large house on 25 acres purchased from my parents in the middle of their 125 acres. For obvious reasons, I thought I wanted the house. She doesn't, but I probably can't afford it, and part of me wonders if I would really be happy. This has me questioning everything I ever knew. Supposedly the AP, who was my friend first, is having a hard time with this, and when she told him I knew last night, he apparently had a semi-breakdown and almost had to be taken to the hospital. I don't feel bad for him, but I think our whole situation is so f***ing complicated it just feels like everyone is losing here. I told her there are no winners here. No decision we make is going to work or make me feel better. I don't think wants to reconcile, even though she kept saying that if she hadn't done what she had done, there was always that possibility, and that is what hurts the most. I'm leaving a lot out here, so I know many of you will say I shouldn't feel anything for her here. And while I hate her for what she did to me, I do recognize she's a good mother and the mother of my children. We have 20 plus years of history, and that still makes this all the more painful. I didn't ask her to leave, because that's not fair to the kids. I go from furious to extreme sadness, so flat, and it's a constant cycle between that. Now we have to try to figure this out, and we don't know what to do. We both feel paralyzed. Neither of us want to buy a house in this SHTTY market. And we are both 100% for 50-50 custody with open flexibility beyond that. So I'm not sending her off to some small-ass apartment where my kids will spend 50% of their time. We have good net worth of almost $900,000, but most of it isn't liquid, so it doesn't help either. She said she will move whenever it gets to be too much for me, but we need to have a plan in place, which we don't. Everything hurts. What hurts the worst is I don't have the feelings of animosity that I thought I would have for her. Watching everything that I thought was my future crumble before me is almost too much to bear. I shouldn't give her the time of day after what she did, but I don't feel that way and I don't know why. All I know is everything hurts. I just want to be numb. What do I do? I haven't told anyone but my therapist and the lawyer invited for a consultation. I have no one to turn to. I don't want to tell anyone yet, either. I just am existing at this point. Is what I'm feeling normal? Am I being weak? Update. Housing when kids are involved. Complicated. My wife and I are in the very early stages of divorce due to her infidelity. Unfortunately for the process, we have 2 boys who we both care about deeply. We are working on settling uncontested and out of court with the help of a mutual lawyer acquaintance. I'm planning to keep the house and land as it's my family's land farm. She doesn't want it for that reason as well. However, as many of you know, the housing market is an absolute train wreck. With interest rates where they are coupled with hyperinflated prices, it's hard for her to find a clean and nice home in a safe area for an affordable price. While I know some on here would say it's not my problem, and that she did this to herself, that is true to an extent, but I can't as a father send them off to some crap hole apartment or trash house in a suboptimal neighborhood. We are 100% in favor of 50-50 custody. So I also don't think it's fair to send her off without them and just have visitation rights until she finds a suitable home. So that leaves me to my question. What in the world do you do in the situation? We're not toxic, nor are we fighting in front of the kids. I don't really want her in the same house long term, but we have agreed to separate floors for now. Our basement is semi-finished and one of us will sleep in the master. Not sure how long that can be expected to go on for. Right now, it seems to be the best option. Thoughts? Update. What happened to your couple friends after divorce? So, my wife is the reason we are getting divorced. She cheated with my friend for months until I caught her. She ruined everything, even though it was definitely not perfect, but I would never cheat. We have a few couples that we hang out with that I really enjoy being around. Since we haven't even told any friends about the divorce and no one but my therapist knows about the affair, I'm worried about losing my friends after the divorce. I feel like they will take her side assuming it was a mutual decision to get divorced simply because she's the mother of the children. For those that already went through this, what happened to your friend group? Update. Don't think I can be friendly around my STBXW. Worries what that will do to my kids. So I'm not going to post my backstory. You can read my past threads. Short story. Wife cheated on me for months with my friend. We're divorcing obviously, but while it's being finalized we are trying to be amicable for the kids. We are doing all settlement out of the court and that has gone all right so far. However, as time goes on, I'm resenting her more and more and it teeters on hate. I never in a million years would have thought I could say I hate my wife that I thought was my soulmate, but I think I do. She has this grand vision of what she thinks life is going to look like. She wants to find a house super close so she can see the kids if need be and vice versa. We agreed to 50-50 custody. She hopes we can one day plan birthday parties for the kids together. Maybe even go on vacation together, etc. What she doesn't realize apparently is that she fucking ruined me. I'm an emotional train wreck and can barely function after a month from discovery. I know I'm supposed to channel that inward for the benefit of the kids, but I don't think I see myself really having a great post-divorce relationship, and maybe not even overly friendly. I do worry how that may affect my boys, though. Will they start to resent me because they can see I'm cutting her cold turkey? I really want what's best for them, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm capable of. For this of you in a similar situation, what did you do? How have you approached it? Update. I hate this. All of it. I'm losing everything. As we make progress towards finalizing our divorce, my wife had a 4-5 month affair with a good friend of mine. I just keep running through a gamut of fucking emotions. I go 2 weeks and feel nothing, and then it's days of sadness, random crying, anger, etc. I'm taking care of myself, lifting and eating right, and making more time with my kids and my friends, but I can't stop mourning the life I'm losing. I was supposed to grow old with this person. Our 2 boys were supposed to have a mom and dad under one roof. We built our dream house together. In the end, it's all a wash and our lives will never be the same. And unfortunately most likely we will all end up worse than we were before this happened. Life isn't fair, so I'm not going to feel sorry for myself, but I'm still so fucking angry it came to this. Sorry for the random rant, but it needed to get out. By the way, I am in therapy and I go again tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Update. Why have I not had many memory movies? I have experienced just about every emotion under the sun over the last 2 months since discovering my wife's affair with a close friend of ours. The weirdest part is I haven't had any memory movies of their physical interactions. If I force myself to think about what they may have done, I can, and it makes me so fucking angry and sick to my stomach, but it never just comes on naturally. Any ideas why this is? Will they eventually overtake me at some point? Update. I suppose it's time for an update. Divorce progress, telling our kids where I'm at, etc. I'm pretty much emotionally drained from the last few months, but my therapist says it's a good idea to get my thoughts written down and either post them somewhere or simply burn it. You can check my profile post history if you are interested in the backstory. The very short of it is that I discovered my 39M wife, 39F, of 15 years was having a 4+ month affair with a very close friend of mine. Also my son's t-ball coach and his son and my oldest are also friends. I didn't want to reconcile, nor did she really, but I wanted to keep our house and land in 50-50 custody, non-negotiable. I've been laying low for months while living under the same roof. All I do is eat well, work out, work, and spend time with my sons. I decided not to tell anyone except my therapist, and that was hard to do. But in the end, it didn't make a difference. I will explain. She bought a house 15 minutes away and started moving in last week. We also finally told our sons, 8 and 5, which was one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. The pain and sadness was almost too much to bear. We were able to start to focus on the positives for them: a new place, new rooms to decorate, new neighborhood to meet new friends, etc. That has eased the transition a little, but it's going to be a long road. I'm bringing my oldest to therapy in 2 weeks, using my therapist, and I hope I can make this as easy on these two as possible. That's where 100% of my energy has been going lately. I'm staying amicable and maybe almost too much at this point, but I just have this terrible empathy for this island she has put herself on. A lot of her friends are backing away from her because, well, apparently they all knew. It started with a beach vacation we went on a few weeks ago with lifelong friends and their kids. I was against the idea for a lot of obvious reasons, but I decided my kids deserved one last vacation with friends, since we had not told them yet. My STBXW decided to tell the friends on the trip that we were getting a divorce and told them we had been having problems for a few years and that it was a mutual decision. The one husband came to me and we talked for an hour or so, and then he said to get a hold of him when we got home. Last weekend he and the other friend of ours went out to get a drink with me. Within a few minutes, they asked me if I knew the whole story as to why she was asking for a divorce. I asked what they meant, and they proceeded to tell me that they knew she was having an affair with this guy, and they weren't sure I knew. Their wives told them they needed to make sure I knew because they all felt terrible. They told me they were pissed about what she did and they had my back. The next day I took my boys to a birthday party for a family we became close with over the past 2 years. We had heard through the grapevine that they suspected my wife was having an affair, but neither of them came to me. When the wife found a free minute when I was alone, she came to me to ask if everything was okay. I told her I knew she knew, and she proceeded to tell me all the red flags she saw for months, but was scared to tell me. She made it clear that the AP's wife has made it known to everyone what happened. Ironically, she has never said anything to me. So here we are. Divorce is being finalized. My kids are broken. So is my family. I don't know how to handle all of the fucking insane whirlwind of emotions, but I know I will get through it. Even after all she did to me, I still can't shake this feeling of empathy from my STBXW. She has alienated herself, and may have destroyed most of her friendships along with our marriage. She's living in a house that is a major downgrade from what we built together, and she simply has very few people to lean on. I know that she put herself here, but it's still hard to watch. On a side note, I will never be date-worthy, but when my friends and I were out for drinks the other night, a girl was definitely flirting with me. Her eyes and smile made me feel like I might someday have a chance to find someone who really cares about me. I didn't approach her, of course, but it was a nice interaction given that I feel like I have zero self-esteem after all of this. Hopefully this will suffice for those that were following my other posts. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Second story. I need some help. Can y'all give me some advice for this situation? I am a 22-year-old male, and my ex is 19. I may sound dumb after this, but I'm just getting out there. Hi everyone, so I just got out of a relationship where I caught my ex cheating. Just to describe our relationship, we met on a dating app and we were very sexually active at the start. Like first week of seeing each other. Yes, I'm a shy boy, so she did initiate it, and as our relationship went on, she arguably had a higher sex drive than me. Trust me, this is relevant. Anyway, she also appeared to have gotten attached to me. Like she wanted to hang out more. She pushed to meet my family and she was involved and all that. She would literally begging me to stay at her place, meet her family. She did other things too where it seemed genuine, like she would show my parents things like things she would get for me, etc. The point is, she seemed good, but then I caught her. Anyway, when I caught her, I just broke up with her on the spot and I didn't say anything. I just left after breaking up, and I left her phone with the text message open in her face. As I left, she started texting me and saying things how she should have broken up with me 2 weeks ago. Wish she never met me, etc. Yes, even though she cheated. Anyway, a lot of other things were said, but me and my people discussed it, and it appeared that she was just gaslighting me and trying to deflect from what she did. Anyway, about a day later, my sister reached out to my ex upon herself to ask this girl if she was really attracted to me or just used me. This girl apparently said that she was attracted to me, but I was insecure or some shit, and she didn't like that. I mean, I was on her for talking to other boys and all quite early on, and maybe that's it, but I was right. Anyway, this is where I'm likely dumb. But her BFF has been talking to me and saying things like how she's on my side and what her friend and my ex did was wrong, and I didn't deserve that. Like her BFF was even calling her names and all that, saying she's messed up and a psycho. Ironically though, they still had communication, as her friend confirmed to me that she was on the phone and texting her. Here's the kicker though. I woke up today with a message from her BFF saying that, "Oh, I know you don't want to hear this, but your ex said that she was only with you for the personality and not looks. She was never attracted to you," and she played it off again as if it were casual and all. And ironically, they're hanging out today too. She made it seem like it was a bad thing. But anyway, I struggle with looks, or I think I'm bad looking, even though my relationship life has been active, especially recently. I talked to my people again, and they think that her friend and my ex are messing with me. Because my friend said that when a girl knows an insecurity, they try to capitalize on it, and this girl knows that my looks are a big deal to me from her being with me, and because my sister basically reaffirmed it too. And even I'm thinking, like, if her friend really didn't like her, why is she still talking to her, and yet alone hanging out? It seems as they're messing with me. Like her friend is trying to trick me because my ex wants to mess with me. Opinions deeply appreciated. Update. Please help me get an understanding. M22, here. Just got out of relationship with my ex F19. We were together for a few months, and she was very sexually active with me from the start. Like, we meet off a dating app, and I'm a shy boy, so she initiated that part. Anyway, it was all good, like she always wanted to be around me where she wanted to, and met my family. I met hers, and she was big about sleepovers. Like, to the point where she would beg me and even want to text my parents for me to say. I will admit her sex drive was more than mine, and I'm a guy. Anyway, I caught her cheating and I was at her house. Text messages. I just broke up with her and left. IDJDNT say anything else. But when I got into my car, she was texting saying things like she should have broken up with me 2 weeks earlier, and this weird stuff. Anyway, after her BFF reached out to me and was telling me how she was on my side and not my ex's, saying I didn't deserve this, and even calling my ex manipulative and other bad names. At the same time, they're still talking and on phone. BFF went even as far as saying they got into fight but still hangs out with her. Anyway, this morning the BFF reaches out and says that my ex was never attracted to me and only liked me for my personality. Yes, I'm insecure about my looks and she knew because I trusted her and told her. And after we broke up, my sister took it upon herself a few days ago to ask if she was actually attracted to me or using me. And my ex apparently said she was attracted to me, but she said I was too insecure. This was 2 days ago. In response to my sister, I not an excuse at all for her because I already cut her off. My point is, it appears that her and friend are playing with me. Also, her BFF told me I was the first BF she supposedly cheated on. But head tactics? Because like, why have consensual sex with someone constantly, especially so early, if there isn't physically attractive? And I'm being told people don't do that typically. No, I'm not rich or anything. Like y'all, I swear she idioted it early on and as we were dating. What to believe? Like, was I attractive to her because we matched and agreed to hang out, and because how she showed strong feelings sexually so early on? We didn't even know each other well or were dating then. So how could that be my personality? She didn't know me. Can y'all just explain to me how this works?